This guy suddenly gets a phone call. The voice on the other end tells him something that freezes his blood: his girlfriend has been kidnapped. Not only that, but they plan to kill her. Shocked beyond words, he doesn't know what to do. Out of desperation, he brings his older brother with him to help search for her.
Oh my God!
Together, they race across the city, hoping to find her before it's too late. He searches everywhere, every single hotel he can think of, but he still can't find her. The cruel twist: his girlfriend is actually being held in one of those very hotels in the same city, but he has no clue which one. Time is slipping away fast. The kidnappers then tell him he has just 30 minutes left to figure out which hotel she's in. 30 minutes to save her life. In this desperate race, the only way to save his girlfriend is not only to find her but also to deal with the dangerous men who kidnapped her. Welcome back to Movie Now. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The story begins with Lewis, a 22-year-old young man. Lewis lives alone, and his girlfriend Venna lives in another city. His parents passed away when he was young, so the only family he has left is his older brother, Fuller. One day, Lewis decides to travel with Fuller to go see Venna. The two brothers grew up together, and despite their differences, they love each other deeply. But Fuller is the kind of person who can't stay out of trouble. Wherever he goes, chaos seems to follow, and many times, his younger brother Lewis has been dragged into it. On this particular day, while they're on the road, Fuller asks Lewis to stop the car in front of a supermarket. Fuller goes inside to look for some food to buy, while Lewis refuels the car outside. After refueling, Lewis tells his brother that he'll wait for him but needs to go to the bathroom for a moment. Now, this is where Fuller's mischievous side shows. Instead of just shopping, Fuller finds a CB radio, basically a radio device used by truck drivers and people with heavy-duty vehicles to communicate with each other while driving long distances. These radios are usually used to share information on the road, stay connected, and keep from getting bored during long hauls. Fuller, always hungry for trouble and entertainment, decides to install one of these radios in their car. Lewis has no idea what Fuller is up to. When he comes back, he discovers that Fuller has already set up the radio in their car. At first, Lewis is angry. He thinks it's unnecessary and another one of Fuller's reckless ideas. But eventually, he gives in. After all, it's a long trip, and maybe some fun wouldn't hurt. That afternoon, their journey continues, and Fuller shows Lewis how the radio works. They tune into different frequencies, talk to random drivers, and play around with the device. Slowly, Lewis starts to relax and even enjoys messing around with it. But then, something happens that changes everything. Through the radio, they meet a truck driver named Rusty Nail. At first, Rusty sounds like a normal guy. He's just another trucker carrying cargo across the country, talking to strangers on the radio to pass time. His voice is deep and calm, but also a little eerie. Fuller and Lewis, being playful, decide to prank him. They change their voices, pretending to be a girl named Candy Cane. With a sweet, flirtatious voice, they tell Rusty Nail that she likes him and wants to meet him. Rusty Nail, who clearly doesn't get this kind of attention from women, falls for it. He gets overly excited because no woman has ever said such things to him before. Lewis and Fuller laugh hysterically as they continue the prank. Candy Cane promises Rusty that they should meet at a hotel that very night. Rusty, thrilled and completely fooled, changes his route and heads toward the hotel where he thinks he'll meet this mysterious girl. Lewis, still in disguise as Candy Cane, tells Rusty that she will be in room 10. Fuller and Lewis, amused by their own prank, check into another room in the same hotel and wait, curious to see if Rusty will actually show up. But here's the twist: room 10 is already occupied by someone else. A completely innocent guest has no idea that a dangerous trucker is on his way, expecting to meet a girl who doesn't even exist. Lewis and Fuller, sitting in their own room, giggle and joke about the prank, thinking it's harmless fun. They wait all night to see what happens. But what they don't realize is that this so-called harmless prank will soon spiral into something terrifying. Because Rusty Nail is not just an ordinary trucker. He's dangerous. Very dangerous. And when he realizes he's been tricked, he won't just laugh it off. He'll want revenge. Even though nothing happened while the brothers were waiting eagerly, in the middle of the night a loud noise suddenly came from room 10. Shocked, they rushed over and saw that someone had been badly beaten, lying there covered in blood. Startled and terrified, they quickly called the police. The next day, the police arrived at the hotel and gathered everyone who had rented rooms, taking them all into custody for questioning. Hearing this, Lewis and Fuller were completely stunned. It was then that they learned the horrifying truth: because of their prank, an innocent man had been attacked. Rusty Nail, the trucker they had tricked, thought the person staying in room 10 was the one who had fooled him. Out of rage, he beat the poor man so badly that his bones were broken, and now that man was on the brink of death. When Lewis and Fuller heard this, fear filled their hearts. They wanted to confess, but they were too scared. If the police found out they were behind the prank, their lives could be destroyed. So instead of admitting the truth, they stayed silent, keeping their secret hidden. Pretending to be innocent, they left the police station quietly. Deep inside, though, they knew the danger wasn't over. Realizing how dangerous Rusty Nail really was, they decided to completely remove the radio from their car. They thought that by doing this, they would cut off all ties with him and stay safe. With heavy hearts, they continued their journey the next day, as if nothing had ever happened. But danger has a way of finding you when you least expect it. While driving near a supermarket, the brothers suddenly noticed several cars chasing after them. Confused and frightened, they pressed harder on the accelerator. Then, out of one of those cars, a massive heavy-duty truck appeared, Rusty Nail's truck. He had found them. The brothers were frozen with fear. They wanted to stop at the supermarket to refuel, but seeing Rusty Nail so close, they were too scared to stop. They kept driving, their hearts racing, but the trucker stayed right on their trail. Out of nowhere, Rusty's truck slammed into the back of their car, smashing it violently. At that moment, Rusty became fully convinced that they were the ones who pranked him. He had tracked the radio frequency, and it pointed directly to their car. The brothers, shocked beyond belief, realized he wasn't going to let them go. Panicked, they switched on the radio again and tried to reason with him. Through trembling voices, they apologized, begging him to forgive them. They explained that they were just two brothers fooling around, that they never meant to hurt anyone, and that they would never pull such a prank again. Their voices carried real fear, and for a moment, it seemed like Rusty felt pity. Rusty Nail finally slowed down and turned onto another road, vanishing into the night. Relieved, the brothers thought they had escaped. Their hearts felt lighter as they drove to see Venna, Lewis's girlfriend. When they finally arrived, Venna was overjoyed to see them. The three spent the whole day together, laughing and catching up. For a while, it felt like everything was back to normal. Later that evening, they decided to go out to a bar to relax. Fuller, Lewis, and Venna laughed, drank, and enjoyed themselves. But what they didn't know was that Rusty Nail was still watching them from the shadows. After leaving the bar, they got into their car and continued their journey. Hours later, the radio crackled to life. It was Rusty Nail's chilling voice. He told them he had been following them the entire time. His words were filled with menace as he declared that he wanted revenge, and that he planned to kill them by smashing their car into pieces. Horrified, Lewis grabbed Venna's hand and tried to escape on foot. But shockingly, Rusty managed to kidnap Venna right under their noses. Rusty then contacted the brothers again, telling them he would kill Venna because they had played with his feelings and made fun of him. Lewis and Fuller pleaded with him, begging not to harm her. They told him it was their fault and that he should take them instead. But Rusty didn't listen. His mind was set on revenge. That night, Rusty gave them an order, meet him at a hotel. To their horror, it was the very same hotel where they had first set up their prank. He coldly informed them that Venna was tied up inside, and that he was about to pull the trigger. Venna was bound tightly to a chair, her hands and legs secured. Rusty had set up a cruel trap. He rigged a gun to fire when the hotel room door was opened. His plan was simple but horrifying. When Lewis and Fuller rushed in to save her, the gun would go off, and Venna would die instantly. Unaware of the trap, the brothers were about to burst through the door when Fuller suddenly stopped Lewis. He sensed something was wrong and warned him not to open it. At that very moment, police surrounded the building, realizing the danger inside. With the hotel under siege, the brothers quickly came up with a plan. Instead of using the door, they sneaked around to the back. They broke in through a window, carefully avoiding the trap, and managed to untie Venna just in time. They pulled her out to safety, saving her life by only a few seconds. Meanwhile, Rusty tried to escape in his massive truck, but in his reckless rage, he ended up crashing. The police watched in shock as the truck was destroyed. Lewis, Fuller, and Venna finally felt like their nightmare was over. Breathing heavily, they were relieved that they had survived the horrifying ordeal. Grateful to still be alive, they got into their car and prepared to leave. But just when they thought it was all behind them, the radio suddenly crackled again. Rusty Nail's terrifying voice came through one last time. He told them his revenge wasn't finished yet, and that he would kill them eventually. The screen fades with the brothers and Venna staring in shock and fear, confused about what might happen next. Dear viewers, this was the story of the movie Joyride, 2001, a tale of how one prank turned into a deadly nightmare. Let us know your thoughts about this movie down in the comments. Until next time, when we return with another thrilling story, stay tuned and stay safe.